I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Thursday, September the 28th. And the board's trying to take Monday back. All those stiff losses that happened on Monday right after Friday's bearish cattle on feed report, and just discounting the higher fat cattle trade we had late last Friday after the cattle on feed report come out. But the board's starting to take that back a little bit now. The losses were minimal on Tuesday there, and Wednesday the board was up pretty good. You look at the board on December live cattle, up $1.42 on Wednesday to end the day at $114.90. Now your April is only $1.20. It's backed off a little bit and then wasn't as much up today as some of your other contracts. Your spot October was up just 30 cents at 108.57, and the cash market may beat that this week. Your October feeder cattle were up over $2.05 there to end the day Wednesday at 152.70. All your out fronts were up big, so we've got a pretty positive sign on your feeder cattle, and there was no reason for it to back off near limit losses on Monday there, or limit losses in several contracts just because of that placement figure that was missed by the analysts. But things haven't changed really, and we've still got a strong feeder cattle market, even though we've got a world of calves coming our way. Haven't had any fat cattle trade really to speak of on a direct basis. Your fed cattle exchange had less than 1,350 head on there. They didn't sell a hoof. We did have some POs, and that's passed out, not pissed off, from 106 1/4 to 107 1/2, but nobody took anything like that. The highest cattle I've seen sell so far this week was on Wednesday at the Glacial Lakes Livestock Market in Watertown, South Dakota. DV Auction Market there, they had 49 head of fat steers weighed 1290 at 105 1/2, so pretty good market there. And who'd have thunk at a competitive market where people bid against one another. But you look at your slaughter so far for the week, could accidentally break that record that we set a couple of weeks ago, the high, the heaviest harvest that we'd had so far this year. We're running ahead of that through the week so far this week. So you look through Wednesday, 354,000 cattle slaughtered. That's up 8,000 compared to last week, up 12,000 compared to the same week a year ago. So if they keep digging hard and have a big Saturday, we could set another record there. So these packers are making good money, so they want to keep those chain speeds going pretty well. Your box beef did back off on Wednesday after being up big on Tuesday there. It backed off some on Wednesday, and we're starting to see that choice select spread grow a little bit as we're getting some interest in those more expensive loin cuts there, and it's starting to put a little bit of spread between the choice and select. You look at your feeder cattle market, your real-time index on Beef Market Central based on the 800-pound steer was lower on Wednesday, mostly because we were getting some high volume sales in the Southern Plains, where Tuesday most of your high volume sales were in the Northern Plains, and that's going to be a big disparage as we get here into the fall here, because the guys up north, you know, yes, the cattle are better. I mean, you guys in the south can get your feelings hurt and all that if you want to, but I tell you what, you get up in the Dakotas and Nebraska and places, the cattle are just better. They're all peas in a pod. They're all big square-made, black-hided cattle, and everybody wants them, and they're a lot better cattle than just the commodity type cattle that they sell, you know, in Oklahoma and Texas and places, just the Okie type cattle or the crossbred cattle that they sell in the southeast. They're just better, and when they have a big high volume sale in the Northern Plains, where they're not having a lot of sales down south or in the Southern Plains, Oklahoma, Texas, and in New Mexico or southeast Colorado, then it's going to make the RTI or the CME index, whichever one you want to talk about, is going to make that higher. But you had some big sales on Wednesday. OKC West, Dodge City, Winter, they didn't have a big run, but you had some more cattle selling in the Southern Plains than you did in the North, and it was down $1.86 at 151.23, and so you can expect your CME index to be down for Wednesday sales whenever it finally comes out there late Thursday sometime. But you look at your big markets on Wednesday, OKC West, Daddy-O Mall, biggest sale barn in the country as far as receipts, and that's the only way you measure them. 6,700 head for the Tuesday and Wednesday sale. About 4,200 head of yearling feeders there on Wednesday. If you look at the market, it was similar to Monday's sale at the city there. Your big steers, feeder steers weighing over 800 pounds were $2 to $4 higher. A lot of that's because people want true yearlings and there's not that many of them left. And there's more and more calves and big heavy calves that have to go right to feed all the time. So your big 8-weight steers, $2 to $4 higher. Under 800 pound feeder steers kind of steady to weak. Feeder heifers were $1 to $3 higher, and we're getting to the point where guys would really rather have a yearling heifer than they would a big heavy fat steer calf. But you look at that report, the automated report on Beef Market Central there, you see there was about 4,200 head, like I said, and you look at some of your popular weight groups on the steers, 579 head of 6-weight steers, average 646 at 156.65, and that was about steady right in there. You look how close these prices are on the weighted average in those big in the weight groups. You look at 845 head of 7 weights, averaging 756 at 151.85. That was down just short of $4 on your weighted average compared to the previous week. But you got to take into account the condition of those cattle. Probably more fleshy cattle, more cattle with some feel, more calfy type cattle in your 7 weights, and you're going to see more and more of that. You know, we've got the genetics so good, we're weaning a calf that's so big we don't know what to do with it anymore. But you look in your 8 weights there, 570 head of 8-weight steers averaged 836 at 150.66. So just about $1 under the price of your 7 weights for a lot more weight there. But you look at Dodge City, Kansas, lighter run there, only 1,400 head because they had so much rain around Dodge City there. 1 to 4 inches of rain and just really made things too wet to be able to move cattle around much. But individual quotes, and they're coming out of Torrington on this report, guys. Torrington really selling some cattle high. They got those hard cattle coming out of there. But Torrington Livestock Markets at 4:20 in the evening there had 236 head of big steers, weighed 973 right through the ring there at 152.85. You look at the calf quote a little bit later in the evening, 5:20 in the evening on Wednesday. Torrington Livestock Markets had 93 head of steers, weighed 408 at 224, and that's a price that we haven't seen or heard of really for a while. But that's your feeder flash for Thursday.